GridView. Hello everyone. Today in this video we're going to talk about GridView. So GridView shows items in a two-dimensional grid. You can design rows and columns in GridView. It's similar to Recycler View and List View. And if you remember, the items are shown from top to bottom in the List View. And the Recycler View items are shown from vertical or horizontal. But you can only choose one orientation, right? So in GridView, you can use two dimensions to show your items. So you can see a GridView design in the picture here. Now you can also see, hopefully, that items are listed both horizontally and vertically. And you can define the number of columns and rows. So let's go to Android Studio and see it in practice. Of course, there is one more thing before we start. I want to show you what the project looks like. Here we have 9 pictures, and under the pictures are written the names of the pictures. And when I click a picture, a toast message shows which animal I chose. Okay, so this is a 3-column grid view. Now, actually, the purpose of all the views is pretty much the same. The aim is to show data. And when the user selects one of them, it will do something. It will do an action. So, every view shows data in a different way. Now, you can decide which view you will use according to whatever project or application you're developing. So, let's continue to develop the project. I will drag a grid view and drop it into the main activity. And right now I will define some of the features on the XML page. And I will define the number of columns. Now I want 3 columns. Now also I defined here the gravity center. I will give an ID to this grid view. Its ID is grid view. And now we have 3-column grid view. And I will define this grid view in the main activity. And I will just write here grid view. Grid view equals find view by ID r.id.gridView. Great, so now I need to create 2 array lists. Now, these are for pictures and animal names. So I'll just create it in here. The first one is a string array list for the names, and its name is text. The second one is integer array list for images. And its name should be image. So now I'll need to fill in these array lists. I'll do it by creating a new method below. Public void fill array. And I can start to fill it in. Now I will write here text.add, and inside the quotation marks I will write animal names. I have 9 animals, so I will copy this code and paste it 9 times. So now I will fill in the image array. But before I continue, I will need to add images into the project. So I'll open up the drawable folder and paste my picture inside this folder. And now I can continue. And I will copy and paste this code. I'm going to do that 9 times. Okay, so after the arrays are finished being filled in, I will call this method in the main activity. All right, so now the grid view is ready. The arrays are ready. We need to create an adapter class. So for that, I will right-click mainActivity.java and select New Java Class. And I'll name this class Grid Adapter. Now this adapter class will extend the base adapter. And then after that, I will click this lamp to implement the methods. And it will implement 4 methods. Okay, so now we have the getCount method, the getItem method, the getItemID method, as well as the getView method. Great, so before we continue in the adapter class, I'm going to do another thing. So you know that every item in GridView has its own layout. So we need to create this layout first. So I'm going to right-click the layout folder and select New, Layout Resource File. I need to give a name to this layout file. The name could be GridView Layout. And click OK. Now I need to design this layout. So inside this layout, I need 1 image view and 1 text view. I will change the constraint layout to linear layout. And also I will define its orientation as vertical. And I will add an image view. I'll select an image for the default one. And also a text view. And I'm going to continue on the XML side. I will change height and width of the image view to 100 dp. And the width of the text view can be wrap content. Okay, so now you can see how it looks like a design. Okay, so right now I will change the center of gravity of the linear layout. Also, I'll give a padding value, let's just call it 1/8, and this will give 8 dp spaces for every side of the layout. So now the layout design is ready, and okay, now I can continue on to the adapter class. So in the adapter class, I'll need to define some variables. First one is context. Second one, I need to define array lists in here too. Okay, so I will copy these array lists and paste them here. And after that, I'll need to create a constructor for this class. And I will right-click here, select Generate, Constructor, and select these 3 variables and click OK. Now Android Studio created constructors automatically. And after that, I'll change this return to 0. So you can remember that from the recycler view. If this is 0, the grid view will be empty. So it should be the number of the element. And I'll write here text.size. So it'll return the number of elements of the text array. And it will create a number of the array size from this layout. I'll need to define a view variable. First of all, I'll create an object from the view class. We'll use the layout_inflator.from method to link a design that we created to a view. So I've got to write context in parentheses. And you can write in here the context object that we created, or parent.getContext here. So here the parent object is given as a parameter is the object of the view group, that is the main activity. So I write .inflate outside the parentheses, and we'll write 3 parameters in parentheses, r.layout.gridView layout. So this grid view layout is this layout that we defined before. The second parameter is the parent object here. The third parameter will be false. All right, and now that that's done, I'll need to define text view and image view here. Text view equals view.findView by ID r.id.textView. Alrighty then, so I have to assign data to these, both of these, text view and image view. So first I will start by assigning text view.set text.get position, and I will get data from the text array and set it to the text view. Of course, I'll do the same for image view. Image view.set image resource image.get position. And then the last one, it should be return view, and the adapter class is ready. All right, so now that that's done, I will create an object of this adapter class in the main activity. So the grid adapter equals new grid adapter, and it will take on 3 parameters. First one is this. Second one is text. Third one is image. Context, text, image. And after that, I will set this adapter to the grid view. GridView.setAdapter, adapter. All right, so it looks easy, right? Well, let's run it and see if it's correct. The application opens, and we have 9 pictures, and under the pictures, it's written the name of the pictures. Now, I want to show you something here. I want to change the size of the text view. So it can be 150 dp. Let's run it again. And all of the pictures are bigger now. See, so we just changed one image view size, and all of the pictures are bigger now. So this grid view has 3 columns. Why don't we change it? I'll just write it here, 2. Let's run it again and see what's changed. And now the grid view has 2 columns. So all of the pictures are not actually seen on the screen, right? But it created a scroll bar automatically. So that means you can scroll it from top to bottom to see the pictures. And now we need to do one more thing. So when we click an item, it should show a toast message, right? So that means I need to add a listener. Now I'll add this listener to the grid view. GridView.set on item click listener. New adapter view dot on item click listener. Inside the on item click method, toast dot make text. Get application context. And then after that, I'll just need to write a message. And the message is you selected plus text dot get position. So it'll take the selected item name from the array and then add it to the message, right? And toast dot length long. And lastly, dot show. So let's run it again. All right, so it's working. So when I click an item, it shows the toast message. Now the important thing is here, even though I click the text, it still shows the toast message, right? So the whole layout has listener. Now you can use GridView to do great designs in your projects. I'm sure that you can be far more creative than I am. So let's finish this up here, and I will see you in the next video. Scroll view. Hello everyone. This is the video that we're going to talk about scroll view. So we use scroll view when the components do not all fit on the screen. Scroll view creates a scroll bar so that we can scroll the screen from top to bottom, from left to right. It's very easy to use, so I just want to show you how Android Studio makes it pretty quickly. So I've got a project here, and before I start, I want to show you what it looks like when we finish. So you can see here that there are 8 buttons in the application. They don't all fit on the screen. And there's a scroll bar on the right side of the screen. And the user can scroll top down. And let's see how we can do this. So in the main activity XML file, there's a constraint layout. And I'll delete the constraint layout and write scroll view. Okay, so now I've got scroll view. But scroll view doesn't have a scroll bar right now, because when the components don't fit on the screen, it automatically writes in a scroll bar. So the most important thing here is scroll view can have just one child. So that means you cannot add more than one component to it. And because of this, we'll need to add another layout under the scroll view. So I can add other components in the new layout. And for that, I will add a linear layout under scroll view. And then I will add the other components into this linear layout. So I'll add a button in linear layout. I will change width and height of the button to 150 dp. And also I'll change the text of the button to button number 1. And I'll change the gravity of the linear layout to the center. Now that's done. I'll copy this button and paste it 3 times. And now I have 4 buttons. So I'll change the names and IDs because, of course, each ID should be unique. I will run my application in this state. Okay, so you can see here that there is no scroll bar because 4 buttons fit on the screen. So even when we have scroll view, if the components fit on the screen, scroll bar doesn't appear. So let's just add a couple more buttons and run it again. Now we have a scroll bar, and we can scroll the screen from top to bottom. So this is vertical scroll view. Can we do it horizontally? So first, I'll just change the orientation of the linear layout, and let's make it horizontal. Okay, so now the buttons are shown horizontally on the screen. I will run my application this way, and let's see, it doesn't work, or does it? Let's change the orientation of the linear layout, and you see, no, it's not working. So what do we do? So let's add horizontal scroll between scroll view and linear, and its width and height can be wrap content. And I'll just put linear layout between these 2 XML tags. And I'll cut this from here and paste it under linear layout. And let's run it again. There it goes. It's working horizontally now. So you can use scroll view on your application to design friendly pages. Until then, I'll see you in the next video. All right, hello everyone. We're going to talk about